Voice of Maryland News Radio 600 Kogo. The STEP, Support the Enlisted Project, is the organization we're working hard to help with today. Support the Enlisted Project is set up to help families of the enlisted and those transitioning out of the military through some times when emergencies hit. And one of the things that I'm talking with some of the organizers here about, I've got Tony and Carla in the studio who are the bigwigs with the organization. Tony Teravazian, say it.
Teravainen.
Thank you. And Carla Winter-Schultz, I swear this is, I might as well, I can say Hushmanzada easier than I can say Teravainen. One of the things that I guess a lot of people don't realize is how long it may take for some people who are transitioning out to receive some of the benefits that are guaranteed to them. It's not as though they're trying to get something that is not due to them. This is what was promised to them, VA benefits or GI Bill stuff. So how long does it take for somebody sometimes to get that?
Yeah, we actually just worked with a client and had a big deal with an ordeal with him. I guess an episode with him as we tried to get it through. But he was discharged in May.
Yeah.
He did 7 combat tours, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and he has yet to see a check from VA.
And that was back in May.
That was May. So his car was repossessed and sold. His phone was closed. He was so deep into eviction that we actually, in order to keep him in the house, we had to pay his legal fees.
Oh, you're kidding.
He had actually pawned all of his electronic and things of value through his house. And to top it all off, he's a single parent with a 14-year-old daughter.
Oh, goodness. And now we've got another story. We've got Mark is with us right now. Mark, you were waiting on your GI Bill benefits too. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So what was it that you, where was it you found yourself? How deep were you in the muck before you stepped forward and you asked to support the Enlisted Project for some help?
Well, deep enough that it wasn't comfortable. I didn't really have the security that I needed, knowing that everything was going to get done. I definitely had bills to pay, rent, things like that. And with short notice and waiting on money from the GI Bill and the VA, it was definitely stressful. So going to STEP really allowed for that breathing room, that time to relax. And it really helped out and let everything kind of fall together and close that gap between waiting for the money from the VA.
You talk about, you went through some tough times. How tough? I mean, Tony just gave us a story about people who, their home was in foreclosure. It was being repossessed. Their car had been taken back. I mean, they were pawning everything they had. Were you that far into it?
I was a few steps behind that.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a single father of 2 children myself. So it was to the point where I was making decisions about whether or not I was going to pay for rent or put food on the table for the week,
So, Mark, how long were you in before you stepped out and then found yourself in this emergent situation?
I was in for just about 6 years.
So, Linda, go ahead.
Well, just being the single, I'm a single mom. I know how hard that is in and of itself.
Yeah.
And so here you have 2 kids, under the age of 3, that you're trying to deal with.
Yeah. And here's a dude, Mark does 6 years he's serving the country. He gets out and guaranteed money. I mean, the GI Bill, this was part of the deal. That's part of when you enlisted and everything else, right? I mean, you got the GI Bill. So you're thinking, I'm going to get out after doing 6 years and then the GI Bill is going to be there and we just move on and everything's smooth, right?
That's the assumption. The assumption is as soon as you get out, you're going to transition right away. It's going to be there. It's going to be exactly what they say, and it's not really the case.
It sounds like there are systemic issues that need to be addressed, first off. But then in the meantime, that's where the Support the Enlisted Project steps up. What are you doing now? Are you working, Mark? Are you going to school? What do you have?
I am. I'm actually doing both. I'm attending a national university here in San Diego for school. I also work for a national university as an instructor at the Polytechnic Institute.
Excellent. How long did it take? Did you get your GI Bill benefits, or are you still waiting on them?
I do have them. They have started, and periodically, though, there's still some hiccups.
From the government?
No, I know.
How long did it take, Mark, before that? How long was it?
It took at least 2 months, and I would say probably even a few weeks longer.
Yeah, it's funny how the bank still wants their money for your car, and the landlord still wants money for rent in the meantime, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. There's no there's no bending with that.
No.
Hey, Mark, just one more thing. What would you tell people about STEP, though? Because you were saying, okay, they just came right in and helped you out while you were waiting.
For the most part, that's true. When I contacted STEP, they were always quick to reply back. Everything they told me they were going to do, they did. So the biggest thing I would do is probably tell people to sometimes just swallow that pride and make that first step, make that contact to them, because you're going to get the help you need.
All right, Mark, thanks so much, man. I appreciate your time. I know it's early, so thanks for being on the program, my friend.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
pal. So Carla and Tony are in the studios. We work with our Support the Enlisted project. Our radiothon continues on today. And here you've got guys that are waiting for government benefits, but that's not something that STEP has. You guys don't get funding from the government. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Chris. We're completely funded by donors. At this point, we're granting all of our services are grants. We're about $35,000 a month.
Wow.
So,
and that you're reliant completely on donors coming up with $35,000 a month?
correct. And that's and usually what we've seen in the past years is that'll spike to almost double as we go into the holiday season.
All right, so obviously this is a good time to be reaching out and asking some people for not only financial help, but do you have enough volunteer? I mean, do you have enough people to be able to help out, to do all the work that's necessary?
Yeah, that's another big thing we're looking for. In order to keep, the best fiduciary use of the money,
Yeah.
we have a very small staff, and we rely on a very large troop of volunteers. So we're always looking for more volunteer assistance. It's not just financial donations we need, but it's people's time, which is really the most precious thing they have to give.
All right. Support the Enlisted Project. You can make a donation. Go online to Kogo.com. Keyword STEP, or when you open Kogo.com, you'll see Linda's pretty face. It'll pop right up. Click on Linda's head, and it'll take you to our donation site. Linda rolls her eyes at me every time I say that. You're silly. Linda says, you're silly. You can also call if you're uncomfortable making a donation online. You can call 858-695-6810, 858-695-6810 to support the Enlisted Project. A big shout out to a number of businesses here in San Diego that are committed to hiring smart and well-trained vets. We got Coast Flight Academy, Team Underground Electric Inc., Review Buzz, NK Towing, and Roadside Services Inc., all Veterans Home Care and Medical of San Diego for joining the Show Your Stripes Alliance and for supporting our mission to help find jobs for unemployed vets. Hire smart, hire vets, iHeartRadio.com/showyourstripes. If you've yet to stop at Kogo.com today, please do so. Click on Linda's pretty face. From there, you can make a donation to support the Enlisted Project. One infamous distinction of San Diego is that we are one of the nation's leaders in stabbings. Oh, the latest incident in Stabbiego and how close it was to you is at 6:21 on today's Voice of Merrill. News Radio 600 Kogo.
News Radio 600 Kogo. Available anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Download it now at Kogo.com.
Voice of Maryland News Radio 600 Kogo. Today is our Support the Enlisted Project radiothon. And so we are talking to various people who are either part of Support the Enlisted Project or people that have been able to use the benefits of STEP in the past. And again, you find out more about STEP at Kogo.com, keyword STEP. Joining us right now is Melissa. And Melissa is in the Wounded Warriors Wives. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So what is the Wounded Warriors Wives?
Well, the Wounded Warriors Wives is a group of women with a lot in common. We've all supported a man who's gone to war and come home injured in one way or another. And what we do is we lean on each other and find support in each other and work hard to make lives easier for ourselves and for our husbands.
So what is it then that the Project Wounded Warriors Wives do that's different than maybe a typical support group?
Well, a typical support group is less formal. The one that we're working with Wounded Warrior Wives, they're specific to the Camp Pendleton and Balboa Hospital for Wounded Warriors, so we're all local. We have a really good outreach towards each other. We're always, forwarding resources and different tools to help one another through the project of being a Wounded Warrior wife.
So you guys have get-togethers? I mean, do you have events that you plan and then execute and to bond? Is that part of it?
Yep, that is part of it. We realize that being caregivers and everything, that we need to take some time for ourselves to sort of re-energize and reboot so we're better for everyone. And what Wounded Warrior Wives do is we arrange special dinners or, spa days or just, a beach day to get away from it all just for a day, kind of recharge our batteries and get right back to it.
What would you say about STEP then, this organization that kind of steps in and helps throughout the year?
STEP is amazing. Actually, Carla was one of the first women who actually recognized that I was a caregiver and that maybe I needed some support as well. STEP comes in and they arrange those nice outings. They've done boat trips. I met them at a lovely luncheon that Carla from STEP put on at 333. It's a very nice restaurant in Oceanside. And, we had a nice private room where we could all sort of just gossip about our crazy lives and not worry about anyone hearing or even noticing. You kind of just look like a group of fun girls, I guess. But she set that up for us. She reaches out. She supports specifically the enlisted group of the military. And I don't know if many people know this, but there's the officers and then there's the enlisted. And the enlisted are the guys that I believe they need the most help and they need the most attention. And they're maybe not the glamorous of the military, but they're the ones that are, in my opinion, work the hardest.
Yeah, go ahead, say it. They do all the hard work while the officers take all the credit. Say it.
Yes.
Well, Melissa, with all these people listening, what would you say to them about this organization and maybe just reaching out and getting help?
This organization allows you to come as you are, no matter where you're coming from. If you're, a seasoned veteran or a, long-term caregiver, or you're maybe just new with a new injury in your family, they care very much. It's so apparent, especially with Carla. She just oozes care. I can't say it better.
Melissa, thank you so much for your time today, and I think you're giving people a great picture of some of what STEP does, and we appreciate it here as our radiothon continues.
Well, no, thank you guys so much.
All right, more is at Kogo.com, keyword STEP, Kogo.com, keyword STEP, and the radio program today is dedicated to support the Enlisted Project, the Voice of Maryland, News Radio 600 Kogo. Carla in studio with us right now. Actually, Melissa was so complimentary toward Carla, and Carla, you put in just a ton of work on this. We got a letter from the mayor, and did you see this letter?
I have.
Did you see it? From Interim Mayor Todd Gloria. Now, Linda, get this. It's directed to me. Normally, when I get a letter from someone in the government, it's not a good thing. But this is pretty cool. Todd Gloria sent us a letter. He said, I'm ready to express my support for STEP, to support the Enlisted Project. San Diego region is one of America's highest concentrations of active duty military and veterans, with approximately 54,000 Marines, 51,000 Navy personnel, and 240,000 veterans. Important to remember, especially this weekend, that all active duty servicemen and women will someday be veterans, and sometimes they need a little help transitioning into civilian life. That's where programs like STEP are so important. It goes on to talk a little bit more about STEP, and you're going to hear more on the great things that they do. If I may just challenge some of our San Diego businesses to step up here, guys. If you just go to Kogo.com, make a donation, and then I'll tell you what, you want to brag about it, this is your chance to just steal some airtime from me. You call up PJ, 800-600-KOGO, and go, hey, my business, Roy's Trucking, I don't know, just made a donation, and we want to challenge another trucking company, or if you're...
Say their competition down the street, yes.
Correct. Jim's Sewing Service, whatever it is. I don't know. Just go ahead and make that donation, then call PJ at 800-600-KOGO, and I'll...
to support the military.
There you go. I don't usually like to give free plugs away, but I think today is a good day to do it, don't you think?
I think so.
Right, we'll do it. Stabiego story today out of Carlsbad. Sure, because that's what we do in San Diego. We stab people. Or in the case of El Cajon, shootings. Linda had that in the story today.
Yeah, right? That was random.
Random deal. Hey, producer Joey sent me a text this morning, said he heard a gunshot in OB. Is that right, PJ? What was the deal on that?
Yeah, but in OB, gunshots are kind of like, we don't hear birds in the mornings, it's just gunshots.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's normal, but it was just close to the time I was ready to leave the house, which was kind of scary.
Freaked you out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad we didn't have to call the local hospitals and look for you. In Carlsbad, though, they went all Stabiego on a dude. Security guard on routine patrol confronted a man near a trash dumpster, and then the dude attacked